What if nothing you do really matters? Not your job, not your effort, not even your best attempts at love. It is a terrifying thought, is it not? This is a question that can creep into the quiet moments, a cold whisper that chills you to the bone. We chase careers, build families, pour our hearts into passions, all with the unspoken hope that it means something, that it leaves a lasting mark. But what if it does not? What if, in the grand cosmic scheme of things, it is all just fleeting? For centuries, humanity has grappled with this existential dilemma. From ancient philosophers contemplating the nature of existence to modern individuals navigating the relentless pace of life, the desire for significance, for a legacy that transcends our brief time, has been a powerful driving force. We are conditioned to believe that our worth is tied to what we build, what we achieve, what we leave behind. The narrative of success often hinges on permanence, on monuments, on a name etched into the annals of history. Meet Alex. For years, Alex lived by this very mantra of impact. Every project at work was a stepping stone to a grander legacy. Every relationship was an investment in a future, a bond meant to endure. He worked late, volunteered on weekends, always striving to build, to contribute, to be remembered. He believed deeply in the power of his actions, the ripple effect of his choices. He saw himself as a sculptor, carefully carving his existence into the marble of time, convinced that each stroke contributed to an enduring masterpiece. But lately, the marble felt like sand. He had just poured months, even years, into a major company initiative, only to see it quietly shelved, replaced by the next big idea with little fanfare. He had watched friendships drift apart, not with a bang, but a slow, almost imperceptible fade, like old photographs losing their color. He had revisited old haunts, places brimming with cherished memories, only to find them gone, replaced by something new and utterly indifferent to the history they held. Each instance was a tiny crack in his foundation, letting in that chilling question: what if none of it truly matters? What if all this striving, all this effort, is just building castles in the sand, destined to be washed away by the next tide, leaving no trace? Before we dive deeper into Alex's journey and perhaps find an answer to this unsettling question, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment sharing your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Your support helps us explore these profound topics together. Alex felt a profound sense of exhaustion, not just physical, but existential. Why bother, he wondered, if the outcome was always oblivion? This was not just a philosophical musing. It was a heavy blanket smothering his motivation, dulling his joy. He found himself staring blankly at his to-do list, the tasks suddenly without meaning, stripped of their purpose. The vibrant colors of his world seemed to drain, leaving behind a muted gray landscape, a reflection of his inner turmoil. He tried to fight it, to remind himself of past successes, of the good he had done, of the positive changes he had initiated. But the voice persisted, louder each time, a relentless echo. It does not matter, not in the end. One rainy afternoon, Alex found himself in an old, dusty bookstore, seeking refuge from the downpour and perhaps from his own thoughts. He was not looking for anything specific, just a distraction, a momentary escape from the weight of his contemplation. He stumbled upon a small, unassuming book of poetry, its cover worn, its pages yellowed with age. He opened it randomly to a page that spoke of autumn leaves, brilliant in their final display, then falling, returning to the earth. It was not sad, it was simply true, a natural cycle of life and decay. And then a line caught his eye, a simple phrase that resonated with an unexpected power. The worth of the dance is in the dancing, not in the curtain call. It was a tiny spark, a flicker of light in the gloom that had enveloped him. Maybe that question, what if nothing you do really matters, is not meant to crush you. Perhaps, paradoxically, it might actually set you free. Free from the crushing weight of permanence, free from the impossible burden of leaving an eternal mark, free from the relentless pursuit of a legacy that may never materialize. This was the beginning of Alex's shift, a subtle but profound reorientation of his perspective. He started to see things differently, through a new lens, one that valued process over outcome, presence over permanence. he began to understand the concept that life is a vapor, ephemeral and transient. Think about it. A beautiful song ends, its final note fading into silence. A burst of laughter, joyous and unrestrained, eventually subsides. A perfect meal, savored with delight, is consumed. Their worth is not in lasting forever. It is in being alive now, in the joy they bring in that very moment. The beauty of a sunset is not diminished because the sun dips below the horizon. Its value is in the breathtaking colors, the quiet awe it inspires right then, in its fleeting glory. Alex started to apply this to his own life. The joy of a shared meal with friends, the satisfaction of a task completed with care, the warmth of a hug from a loved one. These moments, however fleeting, were real. They were felt, and in that feeling, in that presence, was their profound significance. He was not building monuments, he was living moments, and those moments, in their pure, unadulterated existence, were enough. Then Alex began to notice the hidden acts that truly mattered, the quiet contributions that often go unacknowledged, but form the very bedrock of human connection. He saw his elderly neighbor, Mrs. Henderson, quietly tending to the community garden, not for praise or recognition, but simply because she loved the earth and the beauty it brought forth. He remembered a colleague who always had a kind word, a listening ear, never seeking recognition, just offering genuine support and empathy. A simple kindness, a glass of cold water offered to a weary stranger, a prayer no one sees, a quiet word of encouragement may seem small, almost invisible in the grand scheme of things. But nothing offered in love is ever wasted. These were not grand gestures designed for headlines or public acclaim. They were threads woven into the fabric of daily life, creating comfort, connection, and quiet strength. Alex realized that the deepest impacts often leave no visible trace, no measurable metric, but they resonate in the hearts of others, creating ripples that extend far beyond what he could ever measure or even know. He started to practice these small acts himself, not for an outcome, not for a reward, but for the simple act of giving, for the inherent goodness in the deed itself. And finally, Alex found peace in the idea of trusting God with the rest. He did not have to carry eternity on his shoulders. He did not have to ensure that every single action he took would echo through the ages, that his legacy would be immortalized. He could do his best, act with love, cultivate kindness, and then release the outcome. He learned to trust that what you plant in love, God gathers, and that, he realized, is enough. This was not about abandoning responsibility or becoming passive. It was about letting go of the impossible burden of ultimate control and eternal impact. It was about understanding that his role was to sow seeds of goodness, to live authentically, to be present in each moment, and to trust that a larger benevolent force would tend to the harvest in ways he could not comprehend. This realization brought a profound sense of liberation. The pressure lifted. The grey world began to regain its color, vibrant and full of possibility once more. Alex still works hard, still strives for excellence, and still cherishes his relationships. But now it comes from a place of freedom, not fear. He understands that his worth is not measured by the permanence of his achievements, but by the depth of his presence, the sincerity of his hidden acts of kindness, and the peace he finds in trusting the unfolding of life. The question, "What if nothing you do really matters?" no longer crushes him. Instead, it reminds him to live fully, love deeply, and let go of what he cannot control. It set him free. If Alex's story resonated with you, please give this video a thumbs up. Share your own thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Have you ever grappled with this question? How did you find your answer? And if you want to join a community that explores life's big questions with honesty and hope, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you do not miss our next video. Thank you for watching.